Hey everybody, it's Paul Perry with CDA Software. We're going to go ahead and get started today with our video, and our video today is going to cover the main tab. Now for today's video with the main tab, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and break down our video into three sections. The first section of our video, which is going to be today, is going to talk about this whole top area from left to right, and then where we have customer information, this whole quadrant here we're going to talk about. Our second video, we're going to talk about everything that's in the quadrant for unit information. And then our last and final video will be everything that's in job information and down. And so let's go ahead and get started with today's video. So first thing you'll notice is we have the claim number. So this is going to be the CDA claim number. You can go ahead and select that if you want, and you can copy it if you want to as well. Then you'll notice it says the number of days in. So this claim has been in for 1 day. And the way that we calculate the date in is the number of days is by, over here it says the date in. So this is the date that either you generated the ticket or we automatically generated the ticket for you through our RTI. So our RTI is real-time integration, and that's where we go ahead and retrieve and speak back and forth to Service Power, Service Bench, and Dispatch.me. So this just gives your team a quick indicator on how many days this ticket has been in the system. And the next thing you'll notice, it says department code. So if you want to, you can click here and you can assign a ticket to a department code. Now if you want to, on the department code, you can go ahead and edit this area if you want to. And the way you do that is you go to the utility menu, you go to department code, and you can right click, you can say edit, which will allow you to edit the content. Or you can right click, you can say delete, which will allow you to delete a department code, or you can come down here and you can click on add, and then you can go ahead and add a code and a description, and that is how you can set up department codes for a ticket. Now the next thing you'll notice, it says taken by. So this is so that you can put your initials inside the claim to let everyone know who created the ticket. Or if it came through our RTI, it would be who was the first person to start entitlement. You can go ahead and put in the initials of the person that was working on the ticket and or started entitlement. The next thing you'll notice is we have the referral code. So if you click here, you can have different referrals. Perhaps you get your jobs through various resources. Now on referral code, we can click right here. And you'll notice we have different referral codes, third party, Google, Groupon, phone book, and in order for you to add and edit the referral codes, again, I'm going to go to the utilities menu. I'm going to drop all the way down here where it says referral codes. And again, I can right click, I can delete, or I can edit. Or if I want to add a new referral code, all I'm going to do is say add. I can enter the code and then enter the description. So it's just that simple. Now the next thing we have is we have the receive code. Now on the receive code, if you look on our YouTube channel, there is a separate video that talks all about the receive code. But for today's video, we're just going to talk about it from the main tab standpoint. So the receive code is another way that we use it to describe parts and labor markup. So for this particular job, if it was a COD 25% selected, this would mean that any parts or labor that we add, we're going to go ahead and mark it up 25%. And so this is just a quick visual for you to see the different types of markup. So let's say you were doing an NSA job and you had a 10% markup or a 15% markup. Because you selected NSA, you would get that markup. Now for our video, we're going to keep it simple and say, hey, this is a COD job and we're going to do a 25% markup. Let's say you want to edit your receive codes so that you can see them, see right here. And what you'll do, you'll go to the utilities menu and we're going to go to receive code. And again, we're going to right click. We could say edit. And again, we have a video that talks about all of this information. Again, I can go ahead and do a right click. I can say delete. And I can come right down here and I can say add. And then I can fill in all this pertinent information. So that's how that works. And now the next thing you'll notice is we have a checkbox for the shop. So if that's selected, that will let everybody know that this particular unit is in the shop and ready to be worked on. Right here, you see that we have a recall. So if a job came in and let's say we knew that it had the same serial number, we will give you a prompt. If you're creating the ticket on your own manually, we'll give you a prompt because you have the same serial number saying, hey, it's been less than 90 days since you worked on this unit. Is this going to be a recall? And we will, if you say yes, we will go ahead and flag it as a recall. If the ticket comes in through the RTI, either through Service Bench, Service Power, Dispatch.me, and various others, if we see a duplicate serial number and it's been less than 90 days, we will go ahead and enable the recall checkbox for you. Over here we have a priority, so each service center will have their own definition of what a priority is, and when you click on that priority checkbox, we will go ahead and put priority text on the front of the claim. And not only will we put it on the front of the claim, but in the scheduler on the customer's last name, we will go ahead and highlight on the customer's name that it is a priority. So that's the indicator for the scheduling dashboard. And then for our mobile technicians, when they are looking at their jobs, they will see that that particular job will be highlighted in a light pink, which signifies that it's a priority job. So everyone from the desktop to the scheduling dashboard to your mobile, they will all know that the job they're working on is a priority. The next thing I'm going to do is we're going to take a look at the void button. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on this button, and it's going to come up with a dialog prompt. And the dialog prompt says, hey, we're going to go ahead and remove this from the scheduler. If it was on the scheduler, we are going to go ahead and put the word void in the last name, and we are also going to close the ticket. Do you want to continue? Now I'm going to go ahead and say no. I have another claim set up for us where I went ahead and I said yes. So you'll notice it added void to the last name. It removed it from the schedule. And then if I go to the billing tab, what it did is it marked it paid in full. So again, that's what happens when you click on the void button. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to look at, we have the last name, we have the first name, we have the address, we have the zip code. Now when you put in the zip code, we will go ahead and auto-populate the city, the state, and the county that that particular zip code is in. And then you'll notice we have this button right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this button. And what you'll notice is it brought up the map and it's showing us where this job is. So you can go ahead and zoom in and zoom out, and that will show you that yes, you have a valid address. If we were to click on this button and the address wasn't valid, you would get an error saying, hey, we're unable to find the latitude and the longitude. And so that's how you'll know if you have a valid or invalid address. The next thing we see is we have owner's information. And so what this allows you to do is, let's say you're working for rent-to-own equipment, or you're in apartment complexes where the tenant doesn't necessarily own the unit you're going to work on. So if I click on unit information, you'll notice it has no information. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to our other ticket, and you'll notice we have this green push pin. So if I click on that, we now see it has owner information populated. So the logic would be, if there is no green push pin, that means there's no owner information. And if you do see the green push pin, that means you have owner information. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move on to the telephone numbers. So you'll notice that we have 3 fields where you can enter in unique telephone information. Over to the left, it is hard-coded, labeled home, cell, and work number. But what we do for you is we allow you to the right of a phone number to add a unique label. So you can come in here and you can type in any character you want and you can label these phone numbers. For us, we have it labeled wife, husband, and we have wife office. Now you will notice to the right it says, hey, you can text, but you'll notice here it's black, and if I click on it, I can't do anything. That means it is a landline number. So if this is in black text, that means it's landline. Now if I click right here, that means I can start a texting conversation with the customer. So when the text is in white, that means you can have a text conversation with your customers. So now let's go ahead and look at this green flag, and you'll notice when I hover over it, it says customer rating. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and it says this is a red flag alert for customer. Then it pulled the last name. So if I say add, what it's going to do is it's going to red flag this customer. Now for a red flag, this would be the customer is rude. Customer is rude. We will no longer service this customer. And what's going to happen is it's going to turn that to a red flag. Now I'm not going to do that for our demo because I want to show you something. I'm going to go to our test claim, and you'll notice our test claim is red. And so what happened is this customer was extremely abusive to the tech, and when the tech left, he forgot his tool bag in the garage, but the customer would not give the tech his tool bag. And so what happened was senior management said, hey, we're no longer going to work with this customer. So they added a red flag. And so now when a ticket is created manually, or when a ticket is brought in through the RTI, Service Bench, Service Power, Dispatch.me, we will look at the home phone number only. So if the home phone number for any tickets that are created manually or automatically, if it has this unique phone number, that ticket will be red flagged, which then indicates to everyone in the office, hey, we're not supposed to work on this customer, or perhaps management will add special instructions that say, see manager before working on this ticket. And I said we, but it's actually C. I can't spell, now let's do that. And so now see manager before working on this ticket. So again, we will look at a ticket. If the home telephone number matches, we will red flag it. Now, if I go back to our original ticket, this customer is in good standing, and for the most part, you will have happy customers. And so that is what the customer rating is. You have green and you have red for bad. So now let's go ahead and look at customer contact log. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that. And what that allows you to do, that allows you to make a log of you spoke to the customer or you did something on the customer's behalf. So you can either add a fixed note, which is a template, and you could say, hey, we ordered parts, I made a first voice message, or I made a second voice message. Or we can add a note, and we can manually say, spoke to customer, they want a Sunday appointment, and you can say add. Now what you'll notice is, how do you get these templates for the customer contact? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the utilities menu, and I'm going to go to customer contact log. And so it's just like before. I can right click, I can say edit, and I can edit. I can right click, I can say delete, and or I can say add, and I can add my own unique customer contact, which basically is a template. So you can just do a double click and insert what the contact message wants to be. Next, we have an email. So what it's going to say is, I'm in this ticket. I want to email this customer from this field. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say email. And what you'll notice is, hey, we already have something here. And it says email log. So what happened was we have previously sent an email to the customer saying, hey, your part's been ordered. This was the subject and this was the body of the message. Now the way that we would use it if we wanted to is we would say send the customer. So we would pull that email address only. There can only be one email address in that field. So we would say something like parts are on back order. And then we would say the body of the message, your parts are on back order. And let's just say you want to let your technician know as well. So we would say send the tech. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this down real quick. And this is saying the primary tech is this person. So primary tech is this person. So that means when I send this email, not only is it going to go to the customer who's over here, it's also going to go to the primary tech. So the primary tech and the employee setup, whatever their email address is set to, we will send a copy to the technician as well. So all I'm going to do is say send, and there it is. So now you can see we have a running log of email communication that was sent to the customer. So again, when I was mentioning in the sending an email, this is the customer's email address. Again, you can only put one email address in this field. To the right of that, you notice an area that says auto email status. So when this checkbox is enabled, what's going to happen is that when there is a substatus change that you determine when to send an email update, your customer will not only get a text message on an in-house substatus update, but they will also get an email as well. Now let's go ahead and take a look on how to set that up. So when you click on this checkbox right here, what you're going to have to pre-configure is we're going to go to the Utilities menu and we're going to say Customer Email Setup. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this up here, and you'll notice when we again click that checkbox, it is working in conjunction with this. You can set up 6 unique in-house substatuses that you want to auto update the customer with an email message in this body. So right now we're just going to give it a friendly name that says welcome. And so when a customer is in a 000 substatus, if there's an email address over here, we will send this body of the message to the customer. Now this is just a test for us. You will go ahead and put in your own unique message that you want the customer to get, but for our demo we just pre-populated it with simple language. Again, this is for on the schedule. So when the customer's in-house substatus changes to 199, and in-house substatus is right down here. So if this said 199, as soon as we changed it, it would send an email to the customer with this body of the message. So let's go ahead and take a look what that looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change down here. I'm going to click in-house substatus, I'm going to change it to 199, and it's going to say, hey, you want to update the customer? We're going to say absolutely. And it's going to say, bam, we went ahead and did it. So that is how easy it is to give email updates when you have an in-house substatus change. The next thing we're going to do is, hey, how does the customer want you to contact them? More than likely, they never want to speak to you. They just want you to text, or perhaps they do want to speak to you, and you can say, go ahead and phone them, or perhaps they only want email. And so this is just a quick visual for you to determine what's the best method of communication from your customer. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at add to the waiting cancellation list. Now again, just like on the receive code, which is parts and labor markup, we do have a video on that in our YouTube channel. We already have a video for you for a waiting cancellation. When you check that checkbox though, what it allows you to do is your customer will get on a cancellation list, and then when your scheduler in the scheduling department has a cancellation, so let's say the jobs go out, the customer sends a text message saying, hey, I'm sick, please don't show up. Your department that does the scheduling will go ahead, they will click on the button that says awaiting cancellation, which is right down here. Let me just bring it up. So it says awaiting cancellation. You click on that button and see all these really big, obnoxious looking green pens. These are all your customers that are waiting to get on the cancellation list. So all your route manager does, he just double clicks, gets the customer on the schedule, and uses text messaging to dialogue with them. So just look at these really big icons. What happens is when your customer is added to the cancellation list, that allows your scheduling department to have a visual guide to see where that customer lives so that they can get canceled jobs replaced with someone from the cancellation list. And the next thing you'll notice is it says, hey, this ticket has a copay. So what happens is that when you use our RTI, when we get a job from Service Bench, Service Power, Dispatch Me, and the others, if they have a flag in there for the copay, we will go ahead and let you know, hey, this customer has a copay. You probably want to collect it before you get them on the schedule. So that's what that is for. And then last but not least, we're going to go ahead and look at pre-auth. So if on service bench, service power, and the others, when the RTI comes over, if there was a pre-auth amount already in the ticket, we will go ahead and let you know, hey, this ticket came over with a pre-auth amount, which allows you to protect yourself from not ordering too many parts that will go over budget, so that you can go ahead and get a pre-auth before you order all the parts that are necessary. Now what I'd like to do before we conclude with our video is that earlier when I started our video, we mentioned that we have the receive code, we have the taken by, and we have the department code. So what I want to show you that is that in Utilities menu, under System Settings, you can go ahead and make those 3 fields mandatory. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. So here we are. So what we did, again, we were in Utilities menu, we went to System Settings, and then you'll notice right here it says mandatory to enter in receive code. You can have a checkbox for mandatory to enter department code, and you can have it mandatory to enter taken by. So if you enable any of these checkboxes, what that means is that when you're in a ticket, it will be mandatory for you to have those fields populated. So that will conclude today's video.